Revolutionize your pre-construction process with Takt planning. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the key things that you can do in pre-construction to enable your pre-construction efforts, your planning efforts, that will really make a huge difference. And we're going to isolate that for all of you pre-construction experts out there. I know you're going to love it, and you're going to get the vision for this and some cool resources. So if you're into that, you've come to the right place. All right, so I'm going to go to my trusty flip chart back over here because I am stoked to talk to you about this. By the way, this video came about because we have been getting question after question after question about how Takt planning can be looped into the pre-construction process. Let me just go ahead and give away the secret right here at the beginning. There's 3 books that you've got to have. Number 1, a book called Elevating Pre-Construction. It's also titled The First Planner System. And this will provide an outline for exactly how to plan a project and how to do it with Takt. There's 2 other books. Number 1, Takt Planning, which is available on Amazon, and Takt Steering and Control. That last one, Takt Steering and Control, is more for implementing flow in the field, but those first 2 are exactly your jam. We will link them in the description below. Let's get right into it. Takt Planning is the process of scheduling your project as a production plan on a rhythm in a time by location format. It's fantastic. Basically, I would say all lean production principles tie in well with Takt planning, and I know you're going to love it on your project. So there's a lot of different ways to outline the pre-construction process, but typically what I look at is the major phases that people are familiar with. So the proposal, and then I'm going to say conceptual design, schematic design. I'll just put these together here generally. Design, development, the construction drawings phase, and then mobilization, right? So these are generally how, I know that these aren't exactly at the same time, right? But you're basically massing the building and finding out what it wants to look like. You're selecting systems, and then you're detailing everything out. You're getting ready to start the project. Takt planning comes in here in some very key places. Yeah, first of all, in the proposal, my favorite place to start my Takt planning efforts is in the proposal phase. You know, versus having like a 53-page schedule that nobody on the team is going to read or understand. I want a single-page Takt plan that is clear, that is understandable, and I want to also see those zone maps, right? So that I can communicate to the owner. Now, in the proposal phase, you're going to detail this out accurately, and you're going to start to find the problems in the overall project, not only from a timeline standpoint, but from a spatial standpoint, and you're going to start solving those. So one of the best ways to insinuate the Takt production system into your overall process is start using it to plan the project, and in the proposal and the interview actually show the 3 major problems that they have and start talking to how you're going to add value because you are a step above the rest. The other thing is, talk about, if you know what you're doing, don't lie, but if you know what you're doing, talk about your results that you've been getting with Takt planning. Talk about how well you know it. Use that to win the project. We are seeing clients win projects by properly executing this over and over again. It's fantastic. All right, so that's in the proposal phase. Now, this is what I want to talk about for your conceptual design and your schematic design. Early on, once you've won the project, because you use Takt planning in your proposal and in your interview, once you are here, what you will want to do is really detail out a nice macro level Takt plan. Now this means it's going to start on a, not stay, but start on a 5-day Takt time. It's going to be very high level. It is going to pull in historical production rates and wisdom from the team and from your trade partners. But what it's going to do mostly is show the overall total project duration, and if you have any buffers, and specifically how each phase ties together. This is a plan that you can review, you can tear apart, you can analyze for strategic readiness and accuracy. This macro level Takt plan is going to allow you to understand your overall total project duration so that you can make sure your general conditions and your general requirements in your budget are accurate and you know of any other major budget considerations in pre-construction. So this is huge. Throughout the schematic design phase and into design development, you will be updating this. I'll just give you an example. One time we were working with a client and they had a 3-story laboratory and they decided to add a 4th level. So immediately, like within hours, you want to talk about real-time scheduling or production planning, we were able to get an update to that and an update to the general conditions and general requirements and get them back, so that not only the schedule but the updated budget really, really fast. That's what I would call real time. So that's what we do here. So win the job and make sure that you have the right target for your overall total project duration. If you don't do this, let me just say, this is not just a nice idea. If you do this with CPM, you'll undercut your overall duration because it's not going to show properly. It doesn't have trade flow. And you're going to surprise your owner over here with additional money once you find out what the project is really going to take. If you create a macro level tech plan here, your duration is going to be more accurate. You're not going to have that value engineering surprise later on in the overall pre-construction sequence, and everything is going to go better. Okay, so now you're going to switch from a macro to what's called a norm inside the design development phase. And this is when you're going to bring in the builders, okay? I'm going to do this quickly. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but the norm level tech plan means that you have the actual plan. You're going to have zone maps. You're going to have your logistics drawing. You're going to list out and draw how you want your trailer. You're going to have a risk and opportunity register in here. You're going to have a basis of schedule or basis of production plan. You are going to have your procurement log. So I'm just going to write procure. These things need to be planned with the builders. So this is the time mid to 3/4 through design development, your norm level tech plan. This is going to make sure that you are able to, and this is key, I hope you're paying attention, work with the design team to select systems that enable the work packages, and it's going to bring in the builders, so it's a builder plan, which, as we've talked to you about before in books like How Big Things Get Done, is why projects win. When the builders plan the project, they iterate multiple times and they spend the time to actually plan it. So I'm hoping you love this. So the purpose, so let me go back. Win the project, set the right duration, do the planning with the builders, and then in the CD phase, yes, you're updating all of these things. You're updating all of these deliverables. You're updating the plan. But here is where you're going to have your fresh eyes, okay? Fresh eyes means that you are going to pull in multiple experienced people to review this, tear it apart, find problems, basically smear your glasses with some kind of brown tint and like look at everything as it's a possible risk. And in this fresh eyes meeting, you're going to tear it apart and literally build this thing and review it and simulate it on paper before you ever go out into the field. And the idea here is, once this is done, to update it to make sure that you have a solid plan. Hopefully you've done this at least 3 times throughout, because the more you iterate, the more you check, the better off you're going to be. Again, from the book How Big Things Get Done. And what you're going to do is fill out your risk and opportunity register and really start to focus on those risks. Set a really great GMP, so guaranteed maximum price, based on the right GCs and GRs, based on the right overall duration. Make sure that's all a part of your submission, and you have a project that's planned and you can get ready to mobilize. This is the way it's done. You do not get stuck with a job and start and plan it as you go. That's not how it's done. All of the planning should be done out ahead of time. And if you don't want to deal with a 76-page schedule that nobody else can see, it's completely worthless. I recommend that you implement Takt planning, where you win the job, set the parameters, bring in the builders, and review it to make sure it's correct. And so I'm going to give you this in a beautifully formatted Canva graphic, and I hope you absolutely love it. If you need help with this, in the comments below, please reach out, give me your email address. We'll put you on our Discord server and give you support for this. I know you're going to love it. You'll also find the books in the description below, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.